Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Carrington की चर्चा. And just generally welcome to the life of a United fan. तो आज के एपिसोड पे we want to talk about a lot of things. हम बहुत सारी चीजों के बारे में चर्चा करना चाहते हैं. And I'm here with my friend. कोई nickname कोई कुछ?
क्या निकनेम देगा?
I'm here with my friend. क्या nickname देगा? ठीक है. तो let's just dive straight into it. हमारा लास्ट एपिसोड काफी लाइक आई थिंक एक महीने पहले था. उसके बाद से ऐसा लगता है मैं डाइड एंड मैं मरा हूँ और दोबारा
Resurrected.
पैदा हुआ हूँ, रिजरेक्ट हुआ हूँ कुछ 4 बार 5 बार. तो देयर इज अ लॉट जो हमें डिस्कस करना है. एंड आज जो सम ऑफ द मेजर टॉपिक्स वी वांट टू डिस्कस इज 10 से ज़्यादा मैच हो चुके हैं. व्हाट इज आवर सीजन बिन टिल नाउ, हमारा सीजन अभी तक कैसा रहा है और क्या क्या चीज़ें हुई हैं जिसके वजह से हम जज कर पाएँ कि जहां हम अभी हैं वो हमें क्या बताता है कि ये पूरा सीजन कैसा जाएगा. और जो बाकी टॉपिक्स हैं जो आजकल बड़े पॉपुलर हैं, हमारा इंजरी इम्पैक्ट, जो वार का बायस इमर्ज होके आया है यूनाइटेड के अगेंस्ट. मतलब अटैकिंग प्ले तो मैं क्या ही बोलूं, जो भी होता है फाइनल थर्ड में वो. अम, हमारा बैकअप डिफेंस, मैनेजरियल डिसीजंस, अपकमिंग फिक्सचर्स और जो आज और कल कंफर्म हुआ है कि जिम रैटक्लिफ विल बी टेकिंग ओवर 25% ऑफ यूनाइटेड एंड विल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर स्पोर्टिंग ऑपरेशन. सो ये टॉपिक्स हैं. सो मैं आई वुड लाइक टू किक ऑफ एंड आस्क यू सबसे पहले कि what do you think about our overall performance till this point in the season, in the league and in the Champions League?
ओके, सो सबसे पहले तो नमस्कार दोस्तों.
ये आदमी अभी जग रहा है.
वेरी सॉरी कि हम लाइक लाखों मैसेजेस कॉल्स के बावजूद वी कुड नॉट डू आवर एपिसोड नंबर 3, जो हमने बड़े पैशन से बोला था कि वील बी डूइंग एवरी वीक ड्यू टू सम. What did Ten Hag said, the reason he gave for not being able to go to the funeral? So,
Distraction.
नहीं, some forgot that word. Some promises that he cannot break. So similarly, there were some promises
Promises,
we could
yes.
not break. So yeah. So the question that you, what was the question that you asked? Sorry.
ठीक है जी. एंड थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग एवरीबॉडी. हम आपसे मिलेंगे अगले साल जब हम कॉन्फ्रेंस लीग में खेल रहे होंगे.
Lying about it.
हाँ.
But
तो no, let me kick us off. Sorry, let me restart this.
yeah,
So basically, यार, it's been how many matches in the season in the league?
in the
12.
league, 12 games. Yeah,
12 games. So that's exactly 1/3 of the season.
almost. Yeah, one game less
Almost
than
one game of the
1/3.
season. Sorry, right? So this is a good time to kind of judge what has been till
Yeah,
now
but
in the context of जो भी और चल रहा था. So again, I'll ask you this question again. In the league, in the Champions League group stages, what do you think of the overall performance of the team and where we are right now?
so in terms of overall performance, I think if you ask anyone, they're gonna say this, and if they're not saying this, they're lying. We are winning somehow, right? Apparently, we are the most informed team of the league right now. Last 5 games, we won 4 games, so we have our form is better than Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, everyone. But anyone who has seen these games, they know we are not passing the eye test. We are somehow getting these victories by 1 goal, and we just scraping through, and you'll say most of the, if not all of the victories have been like undeserved, right? Our performances have been horrible. Our players, I don't know what they're doing, our especially our attacking line, they have been like they have no answers. Like you name the player, we've tried a bunch of
मतलब
players.
रोटेट करके हम फुल सर्कल आ चुके
Yeah,
हैं.
we've tried players on left wing, right wing. We've tried like different players on the right wing.
हम
We tried.
इतना फुल सर्कल आ चुके हैं कि ट्विटर पे रोनाल्डो वाज द प्रॉब्लम कोटेशन मीम्स आने लगे हैं.
Yeah, that's like we're back to
वी वुड
2023.
रादर हैव अ 38 ईयर ओल्ड अगेन हु ऑलरेडी जो हम पे टट्टी करके ऑलरेडी जा चुका है.
But basically, yeah. So overall performance, somehow we are at a position which is not too bad. We are, I think, 6 points away from top of the table, which is only going to increase as we move further in the season. But our performances have been horrible. Like, yeah, no one can say we've passed the eye test. Like, it feels like we don't have a midfield. Like, our players can't progress the ball. Our defense has been okay, but it's back to those Van Haar days, like side pass, side pass, side pass, and that's trying to
Long
just
balls.
yeah, side like 95 side pass, and then Maguire plays a long ball, and we try to again do something,
Hmm.
but it's not the football we thought we will be playing under Ten Hag. But yeah, again, to just summarize,
Hmm.
performance very bad, but where we are in the season, where we are in the table, yeah, satisfactory.
So I would say, to summarize, very bad and practically hard to have expected more. तो उस पॉइंट पे बिफोर वी मूव ऑन टू द मेन रीजन व्हाई आई बिलीव हमारी परफॉर्मेंस उतनी अच्छी नहीं रही, विच इज इंजरीज, आई वांट टू आस्क यू दिस.
Mm-hmm.
वी हैव सी हमने हर सीजन देखा है कि कोई ना कोई टॉप 4 टीम
Yeah.
इंजरी रिडल्ड होती है,
Mm-hmm.
एंड द होल वर्ल्ड एडजस्ट द एक्सपेक्टेशन. है ना, द मीडिया मैनेजर आके मेरी माँ बीमार है, मेरे बच्चे बच्चे के मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे, ये हो रहा है, प्लेयर्स ने हाथ नहीं धोए पॉटी के बाद. तो सब टीम्स को वो स्पेस दी जाती है, स्पेशली फॉर इंजरीज, राइट?
Mm-hmm.
बट even a 35-year-old Johnny Evans, Maguire, who was not supposed to be here, McTominay, who should not be here, Lindelof, who has never been a first team player, um, Region, who literally we have gotten from for a loan. Any other team जो इस पोजीशन में होती, तुम्हें लगता है उनको इसका 50% क्रिटिसिज्म भी मिलता?
No, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think unko milta. A good point is again what we discussed yesterday. Last season, at exact same point in the season last year, Liverpool had 16 points from 12 games, and the scenario was like, yeah, they were of course like rival fans were bashing them, but in the media it was like, yeah, you can't be like this. They have so many players injured. They don't have Van Dijk. They don't have this guy. They don't have that guy, and like it was not as bad as how how bad it is for Ten Hag right now. And the reason is basically like if you are the most commercial club in the world, you are gonna suffer that, right? Like
Yes.
if
The
Sky,
reason for that is the attention that we always
yeah,
get.
like if Sky Sports puts a negative story about Arsenal, with all due respect, it's not gonna generate as many views if they put a
Yeah.
negative story about United.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically, yeah, we're kind of facing that same issue. And to answer, yeah, nahi hota any other club. And yeah,
मैं एक चीज बस ऐड करना चाहूंगा. The reason I feel partly Manchester United deserves is the example we have set for ourselves in the past 10 years. So क्यों लिवरपूल को वो लीवे इसलिए दी जाती है बिकॉज टाइम एंड अगेन हमने उस टीम को फाइट
yeah,
करके, वो मेंटालिटी दिखा के बाउंस बैक करके देखा है. टाइम एंड अगेन हमने यूनाइटेड को देखा है कि थोड़ी सी फूक मार दो तो लाइक पत्तों की जड़ झड़ जाते हैं लोग. तो
but
आई थिंक वो पॉइंट आता है. एंड ऑल्सो इट इज वेरी नोन इन स्पोर्ट्स कि जो टीम बहुत सक्सेसफुल रही है, जिसके हमने हमने लिटरली 30 साल लोगों के सपने मारे हैं यार. लाइक कुछ बच्चे इंग्लैंड में जो बड़े हुए हैं वो डिप्रेस्ड बड़े हुए हैं हमारे वजह से. ठीक है, लाइक आस्क लिवरपूल फैंस, आस्क आर्सेनल फैंस, आस्क मैन सिटी फैंस, आस्क टॉटनहम.
Man City what?
एग्जैक्टली, आस्क मैन, पता नहीं, आई डोंट नो व्हाट मैन सिटी हैज, आई डोंट नो, जस्ट मे बी डोंट आस्क मैन सिटी. या तो मेरे को लगता है वो हमने वो अर्न नहीं करी रिस्पेक्ट. प्लस वी आर, एज यू सेड, वी आर द मोस्ट कमर्शियल क्लब, सो वी गेट द recipe for disaster, right? Chalo, let's quickly move on to the next topic, which is the impact of injury. So I'll keep this short. हम लोग को पता है बहुत सारी इंजरीज हुई हैं, बट आई विल आस्क यू दिस, कौन सी दो इंजरीज have been the highest impact for us?
I mean, one is definitely Licha
110% I agree.
Martinez. Second, right now, I would say Luke Shaw,
I would agree with that.
right? Because for some reason, I think maybe Rashford will play some, like, not significantly, but at least somewhat better if he has Luke Shaw behind him, because he's played
He's
with
the
him.
only fullback he has shown any
Yeah.
kind of chemistry with.
Yeah, yeah, and he's played with him for like what 9 years now or
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, Luke Shaw, also Luke Shaw is a very good footballer.
Very good footballer, yeah.
So
And also, I think one of the leaders, I would say, in the dressing room. I don't think people
yeah,
realize that, but मेरे को लगता है Ten Hag का attitude towards him tells me कि he is one of the key figures in the
yeah,
dressing room. मेरा point ये है, जहां तक मैं समझ रहा था, लाइक मैंने एजे एनालिसिस के टैक्टिकल वीडियोस मेरे को काफी बढ़िया लगते हैं, स्टैटमैन डेव के भी अच्छे लगते हैं, तो मैंने ये रियलाइज करा कि हमारा जो, जैसे हमारा वो है ना, बेट एंड प्रोग्रेस, कि सब यही करती हैं गुड पोजेशन टीम्स, कि यू बेट द प्रेस एंड देन यू प्ले आउट फ्रॉम द बैक.
yeah,
बट द ओनली टू पीपल who can play out from the back vertically
exactly.
on the ground are Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez.
Exactly. You can see the difference between our ability to play from the back. Like
हाँ.
when those two were in the team, we would not play as many sideway passes, because Leacher was especially good at finding those gaps where he could pass straight to like Bruno or Casemiro or someone in the midfield. And then Luke Shaw is also a very good progressive carrier of the ball.
Yes.
No, and then again
And then that allows Rashford to consistently take the inner channel, because Luke Shaw will consistently always take the outer channel. Plus, I think things which we aren't even considering, right? Licha, Onana, Luke Shaw link up. Basically, just that. Like, if you think Alisson, Trent, and Salah are good, then I mean, on that spectrum, Rashford, Licha, Onana, and like Luke Shaw be, you can see that that can become,
like,
there is potential. You can't say it because, of course, as I said, you have to earn that respect. और दूसरा पॉइंट मेरा ये भी है कि कंपाउंडिंग इफेक्ट, जैसे जस्ट बिकॉज लीचा आता है इसका मतलब नहीं है वी विल जस्ट बी बेटर इन सेंटर बैक पोजीशन. इट इज लाइक टेन हाग के ओन एडमिशन से कि मैं ओनाना इसलिए नहीं लाया हूं कि मैं बॉल हीव कर सकूं, तो ही इज टेलिंग अस कि मैं ओनाना जैसा बंदा लाया हूं क्योंकि मेरे पे लीचा और लुक शॉ जैसे लोग हैं who can receive the ball on the half turn.
Exactly.
Okay, I think good that we both agree, and I think that speaks volumes on like Licha and Luke Shaw, who I think both of whom at different types have gotten a lot of criticism. I think unfair.
Yeah. So you're also the same.
I would say this. I think there were times when I would say something like Casemiro, Varane, but I'm thinking long term.
Also.
Oh my God, Papa B. Sorry, you know what? I'm restarting this whole section. There's only one right answer. No, okay. The thing is, I think Van Bissaka का point ये है कि उसका compounding effect इतना नहीं है, but having him on the right hand side basically I think increases our probability of a clean sheet by 20-30%. Just that one individual, and you will come across wingers who he will completely nullify. So right there, you are basically signing up yourself for clean sheets.
Yes.
है ना?
So he can nullify any left-sided winger in the field, I think.
How many matches have we lost? How many matches we could have won if we hadn't conceded crappy goals? Which I think since Van Bissaka has come has become way less, according to me. All right, let's move on to the next topic. तू वार है किसी और का, तू मार रहा मेरी है. तो इन नो अनसर्टेन टर्म्स मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा, गांड मरा है वार. लाइक ऐसा लगता है द होल वर्ल्ड हैज कंस्पायर्ड टू मेक श्योर दैट यूनाइटेड, whoever plays against United does not go crib in the media about a decision they were given against them, but does not work the other way around. So my question to you is, what do you make of VAR and what do you make of the impact these very volatile VAR decisions have had on our seasons, on our season?
So overall, VAR, I think it's been a disappointment this season. I think that's not because VAR is bad. Like you have VAR in other leagues also. You had VAR in World Cup also, right? So it wasn't this bad. It's just, I think it's just the English ref. I don't know what it is. Like they make a wrong decision and then they come back next weekend with even more conviction and some kind of attitude that no, they are right, and they still keep making wrong decisions.
But they don't take that time to actually audit themselves. They take that time to come up with a reason to justify their वो, because how many firsts have we had, right?
Exactly, and there's no consistency. Like,
हाँ, और सारे precedents क्या यूनाइटेड पे ही सेट करने हैं यार, like बाऊजी थोड़ी ना यूनाइटेड.
And just to give you a summary, like we have, so the impact of VAR on our season till now is has been like -4 points, right? So we've had 6 overturns by VAR, leading to goals for 0, right? So it hasn't helped us score a goal. Disallowed goals for 4. So it has disallowed 4 of our goals. It has helped us with nothing, but it has disallowed 4 of our goals, leading to goals against 1. Okay. Disallowed goals against 0. Okay. It feels like they're purposefully using it against Manchester United.
भाई जब एक ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम में सब्जेक्टिव वर्ड आने लगे ना,
That's the thing. Have you heard of subjective offside?
मेरे को तो ब्रो तो मैंने वो मैकटोमनी वाले गोल की रिकॉर्डिंग, बार रिकॉर्डिंग सुनी. इट्स लाइक इट्स इम्प्रोव. हाँ, यहाँ भी लाइन बना दो, वहां भी बना दो. तुम्हें लगता है उसने खेला? 2 लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, एक आंटी आगे बीच में, मेरे को लगता है उसने खेला. वो डिस्कस, मेरे को 100% लगता है उसको खेला. क्यों भाई? मैगवायर ने तेरे को बताया था कान में आके कि मैंने प्रॉमिस.
Also he's behind, ऐसा नहीं कि like he's in front of
तो मैं
the defender, in front of the ball.
तो मैं तेरे को मैं पूछना चाहूंगा, ये इन एक इंडिविजुअल डिसीजंस का इम्पैक्ट क्या रहा है ओवरऑल? Because football is a momentum based game, it's a confidence based game, and eventually it's a results business, and something like VAR is having a even higher impact than injury, team selection, like even weather, or even like home support. Like VAR is dictating outcomes, right?
Yeah, 100%.
अब तुम can you run me through some of the scenarios जिनको जो तुम्हें लगता है कि were key flash points in matches which would have gone other way if these decisions wouldn't have gone against us like they did?
So the first one that comes in mind is actually not in Premier League. So all of these stats were for Premier League. So if you add like Champions League to it, that's even insane.
Oh my God. मतलब आदमी घर से ही ना निकले फुटबॉल खेलने.
So the first one that comes into mind is, of course, our beloved Rashford's red card. Like, if you talk to anyone, they would say for a red card, you need 2 things, right? You need intent, and then you need force, intensity. Everyone knows he had no bad intention. He was basically trying to cover the ball. He was trying to protect the ball. And he was not running in with force. He was standing, he was putting his foot down. So there was no force.
He wasn't even facing the player.
Exactly. It was a textbook non-penalty. Like, if there's anything you would use as an example to teach these referees, like, hey, this is a scenario, pick what's your answer. This should come under easy category.
Yes.
And
अब मैं तेरे को एक बात बताऊं. If I am in possession of the ball, not facing a player, and if I step on your foot and I slip and fall, is that not a foul on the other player? Because you have not played the ball as a defensive, like somebody pressing me, you have played me. It's just that because of your stupidity, my foot landed on you. It can also be looked at as that, right? But it was looked at from the get-go of the review as malicious intent. And honestly, if rival fans support Manchester United का कुछ खराब होना, भाई, that should tell you how bad this has been. And okay, so Copenhagen एक हो गया. I mean, just that decision is probably going to cost our club millions of dollars. Exactly. It's going to cost us, I don't know how many points in confidence but yeah, let's see how the next 2 fixtures in the Champions League. What do you think about the Premier League?
The impact of VAR in Premier League. I mean, that's what we just discussed. Like minus 4 points. We are 6 points from top position.
I think that says everything, right?
If VAR didn't exist, and like some of the other teams have had like +1 or +2 points. So for example, like what's Man City, Tottenham Hotspur -1.
मतलब VAR should be unbiased judgment, not a invisible hand of God. I mean, very visible hand of God. अच्छा, मेरे को एक और बात पूछनी है. So मैंने एक और स्टैटिस्टिक, and of course, okay, yes. So सबसे लो तो United है, obviously. Can you please surprise me with सबसे आगे कौन है? Top 4 बता दे कौन है जरा.
In like VAR table. Okay, so top is okay. This is gonna be actually surprising. Top is Nottingham Forest +3 points, but ठीक है.
वो तो चलो दया का भाव है.
And then it's Brentford +2, which is surprising because they should have, like, Liverpool should have got a red card against Brentford. So I don't know if how they're accounting for it,
Hmm.
because they definitely lost 3 points, because they would have lost. Fulham +2, and then of course the ever present, the your beloved
Manchester
Manchester
City.
City. So now the interesting part is Manchester City has +2 points due to VAR. We have -4 points, right? The
Yeah.
difference is
So
6
we are
points.
basically tied with Manchester City, right?
Top of the table.
That's what I'm telling
End
my
of story.
children 20 years from now. अच्छा, एक और मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि stats wise I saw कि just since Jurgen Klopp, I think 2 seasons ago under Ole, 3 seasons ago, complained about our penalties. Can you pull that stat up? I think if I'm not wrong, the stat is something like, I think the other top 4 teams have had somewhere between 25 to 45 penalties since then, and
Yeah.
we've had 10. Now, rival fans will tell you that's because we are crap in attack. But just this season, I can think of 2 penalties, like right off the bat without even thinking. Pelestri, Hoyland, right? Like, I mean, Hoyland, you could have given him penalty in maybe 2 matches.
Against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal.
Like, he was like, if you compare against Arsenal, Hoyland versus what is his name? Gabriel. And if you compare Hoyland versus Rodri in City's game, you see the difference. Like, he has his hands around him, he's literally pulling him down, nothing. And he's just like brushed his chest against Rodri, penalty.
But can I, maybe this is also a point, and after this, let's move on from this topic. Can it also be like awareness and tactical intelligence that somebody like Rodri, who knows how to react in that moment because he has high IQ, like he knows that this is enough contact, the ref is looking at me, go down, versus our other players who go down at the worst times, don't go down at the worst times? Do you think there's also an element of tactical intelligence, or do you think it's just
But do you
business?
call it tactic? That's also, you can sugarcoat it anyway. Do you call it tactical intelligence, or do you call it honest play? Like, if someone is, if someone has pulled you, but they don't have enough force to pull you down, you can still go ahead. Do you still go down and call it as tactical intelligence, or do you be like, you didn't
So
go to
this is why I think the whole blame is on VAR, because they give unclear instructions, which leaves
because they don't have any consistency.
they don't have any
If you
consistency.
if you don't wanna give penalty for what Gabriel did to Hoyland, then don't give penalty for all of these Rodri decisions, right?
तो
Just
ये
be
बता
consistent.
तो ये बता कि what do you think about VAR taking out the joy from the game?
Yeah, I think I used to not agree with that before this season, but this season, like, as a United fan, you're legit scared of celebrating even a 90th minute winner. Like,
I did not.
how we used to celebrate a 90th minute
Yeah.
winner, like we used to like run around and like just smash things.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's a 90th minute winner. You just stand up, you be like, everyone quiet.
Quiet.
Let's just see what the VAR is saying. Like, so it just sucks.
And it
the
does not
joy.
happen when I look at other matches. Like my brain doesn't go into, oh my God, there's 100% going to be VAR happening now.
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next topic. I mean, अब इसके बारे में तो क्या ही बोले भाई, मतलब news came out, I don't know how accurate this is, but it was, accurate enough for me to like meme the hell out of him. Apparently, Rashford during the contract renegotiations inquired whether they would be up for building a statue for him, and apparently the board said hell no. And वो हमें पता है वो board कितना बिकाऊ है ना? उसने भी मना कर दिया. And when I heard that, I was like, what absurdity are these players being put in their head by the yes men that surround them, yes men and women, whoever, right? But leaving Rashford aside, why do you think we have had, and not just this season, I would say since the like last phase of the last season, into the preseason, into the new season, right? We have seen this extreme lack of goals. Why do you think that is? And how do you think somebody like Ten Hag, how do you think we fix that?
So first of all, I think last season our front line kind of overperformed, right? Because Rashford, whatever he was,
I mean,
hitting,
somewhat overperformed would be an understatement talking about
yeah,
Rashford.
yeah, like, yeah, he was like a purple patch, golden patch, whatever you want to call it, like, but he was still doing the same thing. He was not looking at the goal. His head was down because he never looks up, and he was just smashing the ball, and somehow it was going in between the legs of the keeper, deflection or
I mean, that's why they look like
whatever.
world-class goals, because they were
Yeah,
improbable goals, a lot of
yeah.
them.
So I
Yes.
think we overperformed this season for some reason. I don't know, like our players on even whether it's one-on-one or whether like any situation, they just lack that confidence. They just have too many options in their mind and they just end up hitting it straight to the keeper. Or they just, and you remember how many times we counted them blasting the ball over the bar?
I do not see
Like,
any
I don't,
other team do
yeah,
that, man. Especially in a nil-nil game.
like one after other. Like,
When you
even the,
know, as the time progresses, each chance will get harder and harder to like get, and time is running out. So the probability of you scoring goal from these like thing situations is even less.
and it started as a funny thing when we started counting it in the
Yeah.
game against Luton, and then we were like, wait a second, this is like seventh or eighth shot, and whether it's Bruno, Rashford, Garnacho, Dalot, anyone,
Ericsson,
Eric, anyone.
Casemiro.
Casemiro तो खेला ही नहीं खैर.
नो आई मीन जब वो
Like, हाँ,
खेलता था वो भी तो लाइक
हाँ,
यही
हाँ,
शुरू
like
हो.
anyone. You
बट
just,
मेरा पॉइंट ये है कि लॉन्ग शॉट बाकी टीम्स लेती हैं इफ दे आर 1-0 डाउन, लो ब्लॉक, ये वो. हम तो निल निल से लाइक हमारा फ्रस्ट्रेशन फर्स्ट हाफ अगर निल निल खत्म हुआ हम वहीं पर शुरू हो जाते हैं.
yeah,
तो आई थिंक ये डेफिनेटली एक प्रॉब्लम है. मेरा मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, चल जैसे लेट मी आस्क यू दिस. Assuming that form will stabilize, form stabilize होने लगेगा लोगों का as we get deeper into the season. Who do you see the like? I mean the like first 11 ka 3 attackers and the fourth attacker that would be, I would say, second string main guy.
like who I think Ten Hag would play or who I would like to
So
play.
let's take what you think Ten Hag would do and then let's do what you would do.
Okay, so assuming the whole team is fit, right? So Onana for keeper.
No, this is just for the attack.
Just for
We'll
the
get
attack.
into the whole first 11 and tactical
Okay,
approaches.
so for attack, I think Hoyland as number 9, and he for some reason he's just madly in love with Rashford as a left wing, and I know he likes Anthony as a right wing, but I think he might be running out of patience with him.
Yeah, we have started seeing a lot of stories about Anthony being like them listening for offers.
Yeah, that not so sure.
Because
How that
18
is.
if but because my point is a lot like क्योंकि हम यूनाइटेड है हमें लग रहा है ये अजीब है.
Yeah,
Most clubs 6 महीने बाद they evaluate players harshly.
yeah,
Most clubs in 1 year they have a clear stance on the player.
yes.
Most clubs in 18 months, if they are not going to be good as they thought, they are shipped out.
We have Martial still playing for us.
ठीक है, next topic. Okay,
Like,
before I see your point. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, this you think the Ten Hag's front three will be what? Rashford on the right.
No, Rashford on the left.
Rashford on the left.
Rashford on the left.
Okay, Hoyland through the middle.
Through the middle.
And on the right.
I still think he's gonna go with Anthony once he has like his desired midfielder, his desired defense. I think he's still, because Anthony really fits his system.
Yeah.
Right.
And we talked about the compounding effect, right? Yeah. ठीक है.
Unless Pellistri does something in training, yeah.
Okay, and what would your front three be?
My front three would be Hoyland, Pellistri on the right, and I like Garnacho, but I don't know if he's good enough to start right now. But at this moment, I'll take him over Rashford, 100%. But maybe if Ahmad comes back, that's also.
I mean, people have forgotten about Ahmad, but he might be, I think, our most technical forward after
I don't want to
Sancho.
say anything because we've had so many up and young, coming players.
That's true.
Because he did well at Sunderland. Like, it's.
I mean, he could be the next Makeda also. Who knows?
Exactly. So
yeah.
But
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like that answer. And who do you think is Ten Hag's like go-to bench option? You said he would pick a front three of Hoyland, Rashford, and Anthony. So I'm guessing his go-to bench option will be Garnacho.
Garnacho and Pellistri.
Garnacho and Pellistri. Then what would you do? Who would you bring off the bench?
So if I'm playing Garnacho, Hoyland, and Pellistri,
you bring Rashi off the bench,
I'll
right?
bring Rashi, yeah.
I mean, bringing Anthony off the bench is like absolutely useless according to me.
I mean, on the right, you'll bring Anthony, but
No, but off the bench, मैंने जहां तक देखा है उसको, he needs 90 minutes. Like he needs 75-80 minutes
just to get
to
into
just get into that doggedness. I don't think he can do anything in 10 minutes. Whereas I think Rashi and Garnacho can do a lot of damage, especially later in the games. And especially when the burden of the loss or whatever situation we are in that time is not on them.
yeah.
Rashi ka jaise he is made to own the situation that the team 70 minutes in is in the situation that is because of him, he only gets worse, according to me. Okay, that was pretty good. Let's get into the next section, which is like, I think, um, if again, if Johnny Evans was playing and Maguire were playing, because for Liverpool, if all their other, Van Dijk, Konate, everybody was injured, I think they would just give them honorary top four. दया के
I
भाव
think
से
so. I
So मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि my opinion is that the defense actually, my strong opinion is that the team has actually overperformed in results because of, I think, Ten Hag making some good substitutions, some key players like pulling us out of the fire. I mean, yes, we've also lost matches because of that, but मेरे को लगता है one, the players have overperformed given the degree. I mean, at one point we had like 20 players injured, 16 to, like, at some
yeah.
point or the other, like our entire squad has been injured at some point or the other, and it's been 12 matches, right?
Yeah.
So मेरे को तो लगता है the defense has actually overperformed, and मेरे को लगता है long term it's good. I think Maguire is looking very confident. I think Johnny Evans, what he did was he showed what we do not get from Varane. Or like, I would say Varane, not Lindelof, because Lindelof I think is pretty decent on the ball. But Johnny Evans showed us that super high technical passing, uh, even with like very limited athleticism, at least in build up, can be pretty good. But of course, we do get exposed a lot on the counter. But yeah, what do you think of, realistically think of, given the injuries, how our like substitute back four has performed of, let's say, Region, Dalo, Lindelof, Maguire, and Johnny Evans?
So I don't think they've been that great. Like, yeah, they've been better than our expectations because our expectations were that low,
सही बात.
right? Especially of Maguire and Johnny Evans, because people were like, that was the Leicester six back pairing like years back.
We're winning the league.
Exactly. And like they've conceded 4 goals against Copenhagen, back to back 3 goals against Newcastle and City at home.
Hmm.
And so it's not been that great, but the fact that we've sneaked 1-0 wins, you have to give them somewhat credit that yeah, we had we held on to those clean sheets.
Hmm.
But then you don't have any other option as well. Like I just said, Varane, I think people were like, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing? The thing is, he doesn't fit into his system on the left side.
Yes.
Because you saw for that third goal against Copenhagen, right?
Yeah.
What he was trying to play with his right foot. That's exactly what Ten Hag doesn't want.
Yes.
He wants that concave, the convex pass, like hugging the touchline,
Yes.
using your left
Giving
foot.
the attacker the advantage
Yeah.
as they receive the ball. Correct.
Using your left
And
foot.
I also think this is a very wrong misconception that Varane is good on the ball, because मेरे को लगता है, yes, he's athletic, like he can
Yeah.
drop a shoulder, he can, run in space, but outside of his bounce passing and first time passing and like 5 to 10 yard passing, I have not seen him do what Maguire has done, what Johnny Evans has done, what Lindelof has done, and I mean not even close to what Lisandro has done on the ball. The thing is, the only thing Varane I think gives us, which none of these other people give us, is like a straight up uh, cover on the counter.
Yeah, so he's a good defender. He's not a good
He's a good
ball
one-on-one
playing-
defender.
Yeah, he's not a good ball playing defender. He can play. Yeah, he's very good one on one. He can play against the counter. He can hold his line well.
Hmm.
So he does your basic defensive stuff very well, and like he's a good defender.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's a little bit stiff. Like he can only play on the right side of the defense, and he was good when he was playing on the right side of the defense. But he got injured, and then Maguire came in, and then he was playing well. So you can't just take him out, because that's how Varane got his place last season, right?
Yes.
When Maguire stopped playing well. So I think he's a good defender. Of course, he's now. I don't know if he's 30 or something.
He's
but yeah,
31.
so he's getting old. He looks kind of stiff.
And the thing is, a 31-year-old player who's been playing first team since 19, He's basically
Yeah.
a 35-year-old.
He's been playing first team football
Yeah, I don't think
at
we've seen
very
any
top level.
person playing like a physical position like defender or like a striker, which basically have played because like Harry Kane, people forget he has not been playing first team football in the Prem for like since he was 19.
I'll give you one. Thiago Silva.
I've never seen that dude even body a person. No, I mean, but the thing is, I think that's more credit to
Yeah,
his style of play. Like
yeah.
I would say like somebody like Lindelof or Lisandro will play longer than somebody like Varane. You know, because as I said, Varane literally relies on his pace to be a great defender. I think Lisandro relies on his technique to
Yeah.
be a good defender. And I think
I think it's
technique,
not just about the pace. He's a good defender. I think it's again with age he's just becoming more. He just looks more stiff, and when
yeah.
you're more
I
stiff,
think
you just
his
more injury.
motivation is like, I think his lapse of concentration, I think he has like we saw these periods in the French squad. We even saw these periods
Mhm.
in like Real Madrid, right? We've seen these this small like here and there from Varane, where he has these lapse of concentrations just like Dalot. But I think his
Yeah.
lapse of concentration come from when he doesn't feel like his position is secure or he feels not
Mhm.
motivated. And I think that is not going to scale well as we go through the season. Because if I'm a coach, if you're available to me 75% of the games, I cannot
Mhm.
build a team around you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
Especially as a center back, especially as a
yeah,
keeper, especially as a center back, especially as a
yeah.
striker. Like people who are like at the spine of that team as a CDM, like it's hard to kind of rely on somebody who's like available 70% of the time.
But same can be said about Licha, right? He's also been injury prone because he got injured at the end of the season,
But
and now he's.
can you say one injury and call that person injury prone? Because Varane has literally been injured on every part of his
But
body.
we knew that we knew when he came that
We
he's
did, we
injured.
did. So I would say there's no blame on Varane, but I would
Yeah.
just say we might be hitting the limit of how much we can get from him in this iteration of him. Like,
I think so, but I think he's has enough credit in the bank
mm,
to give him another chance because people said that the same thing about Casemiro
yeah.
last season. So
And we are yet to see where the coin falls in that.
yeah,
Which brings
exactly.
us into our next topic, which
Uh,
is tactical approaches. So I'll make the question simple for you, right? What changes have you seen over the course of this season that Ten Hag, like adjustments that Ten Hag is making, and what more adjustments do you think he will make as we, progress in the season? Now, keep in mind, we are getting back Luke Shaw, right? We are gonna get back Licha maybe sometime in Jan. We are going to get back Casemiro, and I think that's about it
yeah, at least for the key
for the
players,
key
yeah.
players, right? So keep that in mind, and yeah, just want to know what are some of the changes you have seen from Ten Hag, and what are some more changes you would like to see.
I think right now, I don't think he's able to play the football that he wants to play because again, he can't play from the back, right? Like he has Onana. Again, you'll see Onana make the pass, and then the defenders will make
Hmm.
side passes, and it's just not the football that he
Hmm.
wants to play.
Hmm.
Maybe with Licha coming back and Luke Shaw coming back, it gives him that outlet on the left,
Hmm.
and that also provides the confidence to your CDMs,
Hmm.
right? And then basically, as you said, it's kind of a compound effect. It
Yes.
also allows your attackers to stay up and not just constantly cover your fullbacks because they keep
Yes.
losing the ball. So I think once you have your desired starting 11, we're gonna see similar football and similar results to what we saw in our purple patch last season when we were winning again and again and again.
Hmm.
But right now, the football, I don't think he's able to play that football that he wants to play. And I don't know if we can blame him again. It just keeps going back to injuries and impact of VAR, and it's just has not fallen together
Hmm.
for him.
So let me ask you this. Okay, I know I asked you what other changes would he make. Let me rephrase the question. In terms of style of play and progression in how good we are at tactically executing that,
Mhm.
where do you see us at the end of the season, assuming we don't have more injuries?
So you're basically saying if we don't have any more injuries in the season, and he's able to play the football that he plays, right?
Where, like, how much progression will we see in him being able to implement that football that he wants to play?
I think we will see a lot of progress because again, he's added some very key players this season. First of all is the goalkeeper. That's where his football starts, right? He's basically now he has a keeper who's not gonna just shoot it long, and he can play those risky passes. And even the opposition knows that this player, this guy has some balls, and he's not gonna get flustered
Hmm.
if you just press him like animals, and he's just gonna either lob it on
He's
over
gonna
top
make
of
you
you.
regret it.
Yeah. So that also again has the same compound effect. They're not gonna press him like animals. So your keeper doesn't have that pressure. Your defenders don't have that pressure. So yeah. So
Hmm.
he has some key players, and he's got Mount in midfield, which we all think is kind of like his pseudo. What's the
I think it's
Barca
his
guy?
Ericsson Fred hybrid.
Ericsson Fred hybrid, and I think it's basically he's hoping that he can get what he wanted to get out of De Jong.
The basic this is actually going to be my main point in this, which is like, I think yes, we will see a lot of progression, but I think the one characteristic we are missing in his team is like ball carrying, especially in the
Yeah,
midfield, because it's not just we don't have good ball carriers. All our midfielders are absolutely pathetic ball carriers. Like Bruno is probably the worst midfielder in
yeah,
terms of dribbling past somebody. So is Casemiro, according to me. I mean, like, you need to compare them
yeah.
to the likes of Caicedo, Enzo, or
Yeah.
like even somebody like I even remember, bro, Fabinho. He was
Even if you compare to
R-
Matic,
Matic,
yeah,
Rodri, right? I
yeah,
mean, you
that's
could you could pick, I think, top 10 में से any midfield trio or whatever, like four
Mhm.
player का
Yeah,
combination, and
Declan
one
Rice.
or two Declan, I mean, unicorn in terms of ball carrying and
Yeah.
ball winning, right? So मेरे को लगता है ball carrying gives you that advantage of numbers in being able to like continue to play through the middle rather than having to drive the ball wide, which basically starts reducing the chance of you scoring a goal. Because as
Yeah.
soon as the midfielder can get past his matchup, suddenly you have numbers in the transition, and then again, that
Mhm.
one, like as you said, Onana, if he beats that one person, suddenly you
Yeah.
have numbers. So
Yeah.
I imagine that higher up the field.
So you don't think Mount can play that role of ball
So
carrier?
मेरे को लगता है actually,
He's more
I'm
towards
not sure.
press.
I'm not sure. I think his press, I think it took some time for him to become intense, right? So I was very surprised to see how soft he was on the, like, he would run, but his tackle was the same like Fred, where he would just bounce off the player.
Mm.
But last match, I saw him being super, super. He won like the ball 6 times, 6 ball recoveries. Like, that's insane.
But he was also good, and he was similar in preseason. We saw him in preseason.
Yeah,
He played every
I
single
think
game.
preseason he was like a Swiss knife, where he's neat on the ball, give and
Mhm.
goes, neat, half turns, receive, maybe a couple of good shots, maybe a couple of good positions in the box. But in that transition style football, you
Mhm.
also need to be able to win the possession back in one-on-one duels. And I thought he was very, very bad at that. But the last match, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, it's not like he's weak. Maybe he needed to build up that intensity, you know.
But last match was also against Luton,
That is true.
who
That
probably don't have
probably
the
one of the worst midfields in the Prem.
midfield of that quality. So when
Yeah.
you if
I
you
mean, if the one of the worst things about that team is probably their midfield. Like, I did not know a single player who, I mean, even in the
they
match,
had
we
like
usually have a very competitive midfield battle, but I think we they were nowhere. I think, and we were able to hold
you
possession.
didn't realize they had Ross Barkley, but that's how bad they were
That's how bad.
midfield.
It's like as bad as having Johnny Evans, right? Mad respect, Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah,
So okay, that was a good discussion. I think, summaries being that we should see a massive style and progression in the style of play. If there are no injuries, and also if there are no like prima donna behavior by the board,
yeah,
by the players, by maybe Ten Hag. It's like, let's be honest, even Ten Hag has shown certain prima donna behavior, especially around how intense he wants training. Whereas you even see the likes of Pep Guardiola saying that with the current fixture list and the intensity, I'm cutting down on training. You know what I
First
mean?
of all, you can't trust Pep. What
Oh
he's
yeah,
saying.
I mean, it might be he's saying that
Yeah.
exactly to just make you feel like Ten
Exactly.
Hag.
He might be just whipping his players
Yeah,
in the training.
correct.
You,
So
yeah.
yeah, but I just definitely think with United you always have to be like none of that pre-Madonna shit happens कि player ने बोला कि
Yeah.
bro मैं घर जा रहा हूँ अपनी बॉल लेके. ठीक है. So I think let's make this quick. I think key players through this entire like discussion हमने काफी ज्यादा key players mention करे.
Yeah.
Right now key player हैं दो तरह के. People we know we can rely on who we need in the team back, and people who we know have a very high potential upside, but to get out of them is a task. Like, I mean, we are all thinking about one person, Rashford, right? So I want to ask you, who are your three key players for this season?
I think I would say hard to say.
Let's do it from the back. Let's say so.
I
Let's say
want to say Onana, but we haven't seen Binder how good or bad he is comparatively, so we don't know if
we will
if
get
we're gonna miss him or not.
hold that. We'll get into that in the upcoming fixtures part. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So I would say Onana too. Let's
Okay.
let's keep the goalkeeper aside
Yeah.
because I think you can every like Ten Hag has उसने enough times बोल दिया है कि भाई this is a big part of my tactical
Yeah.
progression.
Okay.
है ना तो Onana. Now
Okay.
name one defender.
So we're going one
One per yeah.
defense midfield
Midfield
attack.
attack, yeah.
I would say Licha is the most important.
Okay, good. I would agree. I would say Licha.
It was close between Licha and Luke Shaw.
I would say Licha or Luke Shaw.
But
yes.
Luke Shaw sometimes goes missing. He has those 5 or 6 games where he's like,
Yeah.
he doesn't give a fuck. So
And I think Licha is a communicator. Licha is
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
I think and
yeah,
Licha is like
gets
this.
that intensity. You know,
Uh,
when he was there, people like defenders were high fiving after every
Yes.
tackle. Like,
And I think
so-
just for the link up with
Yeah,
Onana
exactly.
and starting that whole ripple effect of the build-up. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
In
Licha.
midfield, this is
Yeah.
gonna be tricky.
Casemiro or Bruno, one of the two. I think Bruno is just so important because if you look at his numbers, like yeah, this season has been bad for everyone. But if you just look at his numbers and how key he has been since he came to the club, like there's a lot of people are criticizing him.
I think there's a lot of circumstance that he has had to literally bulldoze through.
I think a lot of his criticism is for like yeah his petulance and this and that.
I think
but
it's a
not-
little bit of that Western, like English judgment of
Yeah.
any kind of expression. Right?
Any
Remember the
foreign
Anthony
player.
doing that spin for the first time?
Yeah,
Like there used to be a time where we fucking enjoyed that shit.
exactly.
Right?
You saw that Ronaldo like doing that dance.
Like I'm not even kidding. When Ray Charlison did that against us, when he bobbled on the head, you
Yeah.
remember, and we like
Yeah.
cleaned him out.
Yeah.
Like you get to do that, man. Damn, nice.
When
Like
Neymar does it, it looks good, right?
yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I
Mhm.
definitely so my thing is I think Casemiro was a key player for us last season because last season was about results
Mhm.
and not style of play.
Maybe, yeah.
I think we are going to see Casemiro maybe become less crucial, like maybe fall out of the first 11. You know, that way we preserve him. Maybe he's critical for us in like Champions League, cup matches, right?
Mhm.
I mean, one thing you cannot say about Casemiro is like when he's fit and he's on form. I mean, he's a one-man defense against that transition, literally
Yeah.
one-man defense. So okay, let's stick with Bruno then for this.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would say we have more to gain from Bruno doing well
Mhm.
than Casemiro doing well. So I would put it
Yeah.
like that. Okay, forward line.
Hoyland. I think Hoyland is a
I will say
key.
Rashford. Because I think Hoyland is going to do a lot for us this season. Yes.
Depends whether
Depends.
Rashford lets him do it or
Yes. Because मेरे को लगता है Rashford is the kind of person who not only affects us on the field, but I think he can really affect the dressing room.
But just seeing him this season, especially his body language, like minute 10, he's throwing his hands, he's walking on the field, he's not like tracking back, like, and every single game. It's not like he's going through a phase and it's just this stretch of game and then he just comes with this intensity. It's like you hear all this criticism like everywhere. You feel like, next game he's just gonna be up for it.
Rip one, yeah.
Next game he comes and he's again minute 10 he's walking around.
My problem is like that dude in his brain has only patience, discipline, and motivation for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and feels like again I keep saying this, but his football IQ is like nil.
So I think in the Premier League, I would say one of the worst. It's hard to find somebody like we used to shit on Dan James.
Yeah.
Bro, Dan James did give and goes consistently. He
Yeah.
was shit with the final product. Yes.
Finishing. Yeah.
Finishing, passing, crossing, he was really bad. I think in all of those things, like Rashi is as bad, you know. Okay, cool. So you're gonna stick with Hoyland or Rashi?
Hoyland.
Okay,
I
so
trust Rashi.
let's go with that. So key players: Onana, Licha,
Licha.
Bruno, and Hoyland. Okay, it'll be interesting to see where we are with these people at the end of the season, because all of these people, in one reason or the another, maybe injury, maybe form, maybe just their past mistakes have piling up so much. These four might be in completely different situations by the end of the
But these
season.
are our long-term players. If you look at it, they are the
How many
players.
times have we said that, bro? Like, I mean, technically, most of our players are what we thought would be long. We all thought we would get 4 good years from Varane and Casemiro. Let's not be. If I told you were
Let's
going to
not
get
be-
1 good year from Casemiro for 70 million, you wouldn't have gotten him. We all said we are going to get 4 good years from Varane and Casemiro, right?
Yeah, we can't be hoping.
Right now, we are more likely to get those years from Johnny Evans. So, because it can be. I've heard like the injury that Licha got can be like really hard to like recover from.
It can be like reoccurring.
Reoccurring, yeah. And I think the thing is, because it's on his foot,
Recurring.
it can really hinder his intensity. Like we saw this in Phil Jones. Phil Jones' confidence and just physical aggression went down and down and down. Eventually, he had to become like a ball playing center back because he just didn't have the physicality to compete. Okay. On to the next decision. Tell me the, just in highlights that from the top of your head that you remember, some of the great decisions that made you feel, man, Ten Hag has got this, not just in terms of tactical discipline, but in like creativity, being able to get the best out of the player, a substitution, a tactic, maybe anything, any decision he took in that. So give me some good ones that made you really buy into Ten Hag, and give me some bad ones that made you really question Ten Hag.
Honestly, the only good one I can think of is when he finally
Played Rashford on the right.
no.
Oh.
No. When he finally decided to substitute Anthony
Oh,
and get
right.
Pellistri,
Yes.
and then Pellistri like dog fighted to get that assist for Bruno.
Yeah.
Right.
And if he would have lost the match, I think the likelihood of Ten Hag getting fired goes up significantly.
Exactly. So that's the only one, honestly, I can think where like his substitutes or something he did helped us out, because honestly, like he's been setting up the team same every game, right? And it's been the same. I'm tired of saying again, back passes, side passes, no intensity, no midfield. Midfield runners just running all over our midfield. Fullbacks losing concentration. It's been the same finishers not able to finish. So it's been the exactly same every single game. Like you come with this hope, like, this game, we got the result, but yeah, let's put a good performance now. And again, you don't see that. And even if you do see that, it's like either for first 30 minutes, and then either VAR comes in, or like the players decide to just be like, yeah, that's it. That's the most we can do. So good decision by Ten Hag. Only one thing off is, yeah, playing Pellistri. And
Okay.
The bad, I don't know if there's anything like bad. I would say sticking with Rashford, because if he's been absolutely horrible, and if you keep sticking with him for like 10 games straight and he's doing nothing, and it's not, you can
Okay, a
see,
negative compounding effect, right?
yeah, and it's not like you can see he's trying, he's giving his best, and it's just not coming.
Clicking, yeah.
It's not like that. You can see
He's making it not click with his
Yeah.
very direct
and you
actions.
keep sticking with him, and it sends a message that boy, favoritism, like that.
I was actually expecting you'd be more like optimistic about Ten Hag, but I think this is a reality check for me also. Like the Premier League managerial talent right now is also crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like I did not think outside of Pep or Klopp, I would want any other manager over Ten Hag, but that's not. I mean, I'm not saying I would, But now the list is much more than like Pep and Klopp. It's like you could consider De Zerbi, you could consider even Pochettino. Like Pochettino's like progression
Feel
with a
Pochettino
team.
is too vanilla. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, you might say he's too vanilla. Somebody might say Ten Hag is too Dutch. Like literally, right? He's
Yeah.
getting criticism for like
Yeah.
fact, like everything is not.
Ignored.
So we have. I want to bring in a couple of things, right?
Mhm.
So my criticism of Ten Hag is you are not playing Dutch football. You are not playing like you are not here to play like technical football. Premier League is known to be a league which susses out very European style technical football, like very Dutch heavy, Spanish heavy type technical football.
Mhm.
We have seen that time, and I think it's a consensus that Premier League, amongst other leagues, is very driven by athleticism, aggression, pace, power, right?
Mhm.
तो मेरा एक criticism ये है कि I have a feeling he is overtraining them
Maybe.
because his tactical approach is a little bit too sophisticated that people in the Prem are used to. Like my whole thing is like the kind of movement, interchanges, like how consistently his Ajax team would execute the same pattern over and over again. I do not think any team outside of City or Liverpool actually does that. Even Brighton, I would say it's not that, how do I put it? Like it's not like their players are tactically have a laundry list of stuff that they have like become very competent in. I don't think that's really possible in the duration that he's been there. And I think he needs to make it simpler. I think he needs to tactically ask of less and then take his like he cannot be impatient with people who are not used to having like that level of tactics being told to them and having to stick to them that consistently. So I think he might be overtraining, maybe being overtly harsh or being overtly complex in the ways that he is giving his instruction. I would say this in defense of Ten Hag, I don't think you can drop a player of like Rashford without completely losing him.
I mean, Rashford is, you can't say Rashford is a system player because his game is just like trying to run past the defender and just
Yeah,
taking a blind shot. Like he's not gonna do the give and go, and he's not gonna hold his position, hold his weight, and then allow overlap underlap. Like yeah, he used to do that sometimes with Luke Shaw, but he's not like a system player. And to some point, you might be right about overtraining because I think a lot of people are saying that's also one of the reasons for the injuries. Like
injuries. Yeah,
a lot of people, like no, he's overtraining
especially the lot of muscle injuries.
muscle injuries. Yeah, exactly. But then, yeah, like, is there a thing like I don't know, overtraining? Like, is it like he's like the players are not used to this
I
much
mean,
hard work?
there is a concept of overtraining is there in all the other sports. Like you hear it in UFC, you hear it in NBA. Like you eventually want to get to a place where you are not having to train your first 11 that much because you want to preserve their intensity for match day. Even Sir Alex said that when the rhythm of the season picks up, you need them fresh on match day and you need them intense on match day because I think that's what explains even the likes of McTominay getting gassed, even the likes of like Dalot getting gassed like 60, 70 minutes into the match. I think they're being overplayed because of her injuries, but I think they're also possibly were being overtrained or are being overtrained.
I think they're also playing like McTominay and Dalo has started like all of the games midweek, weekend.
Correct.
That's also one of the
Yeah. So
reasons.
I would say maybe some things are like him not being able to play other people because of injuries. Maybe he's not overtraining them right now. I mean, if he's still training them as he was earlier on the season, right in the period that has been, I would say that would be straight up stupid because he
Yeah.
cannot afford literally a single more injury, right? Couldn't have
Mm.
afforded. So I think maybe not. I don't know.
But
We'll know more at the end of the season. I think when the summary and then we hear what happens, right? So a couple of things that I have heard, uh, you know, one is I've heard that the tactical instruction thing is complex, but I also it was like reported that it's from the players who are not being picked.
but I'll come back to this tactical thing also.
Hmm.
Would you say he's overtraining the players or his tactics are over complex here at United? and they were not. He was not doing that at Ajax.
I think he was doing the exact same thing at Ajax.
And would you say like the players at Ajax were like not big superstars, didn't have ego, so they just bought into
Yes.
his philosophy and they're like, okay, we'll do what you want us to do because we know you can get us to play football that's gonna win games. Versus
Yes.
the players at United are just so egoistic. They'll be like, this is too tough, we can't do it, and then they leak
So
all
I'll
this
tell you
football.
why I think he said it also. I cannot play the football that I played in Ajax.
Yeah.
So when Ten Hag versus Pochettino was happening, so I saw a couple of full 90 matches of Ajax and I watched a lot of highlights. The thing is, bro, exactly. They were an insanely well-oiled machine. Like
Hmm.
people in the middle did not hold the ball at all. Like it was like bounce passes. Like you cannot imagine at what speed and frequency. And it was automatic. Nobody received the ball and then gauge the situation. While receiving the ball, they would even like the likes of Anthony, you would see like as they receive the ball, it's like completely automatic. The other thing was like his wingers are like super crucial to his system because he gets them one-on-one isolated through his play deeper in the field, and then it is on the winger to like beat that man and play the ball in, which is exactly what Man City also does. You isolate somebody like a Grealish, you isolate somebody like a Mahrez in the line. They just isolate one-on-one. The winger beats that man, plays the ball in or takes a shot, and like all hell breaks loose in the opposition's box. So I think none of those things I'm seeing here. It's always like it's as you said. It's always like receive the ball and I need to do something that makes me look good,
Exactly.
and
That's the
that
thing.
you cannot
It's
play.
that heroism, yeah.
You cannot play his football like that at
Yeah.
all.
Because we saw that in the last game, Rashford on the right wing, he had an option out like on the left, on the right. He could have passed back into the midfield. He could have played an overlap. He
So,
ran straight into two
so are
defenders.
you telling me some people like Sabitzer, who you would consider super intelligent, right? People like Frankie De Jong, who's considered again one of the smartest.
Hmm.
Tadic, like all like
Hmm.
Sebastian Haller,
Yeah.
like all these crazy good players. They have said, bro, you could wake him up in the middle of the night and he would tell you every detail of how the situation should play out. Are you telling me he does not tell Rashford that when you have option A, B, C, these are the like in this order you kind of execute it? If you have an overlap and underlap, play the over underlap. Unless that gets covered, then you like these are the tactical instructions which I'm saying these idiots fail to implement, because that's how tactical instruction works, right? You are given as a player 3 or 4 situations that you will consistently come across, and you need to have drilled that automatic decision
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. But then again, these players they have that this ego thing. I don't know it's an ego thing or this
Ego, and it's like also like
hero.
past precedents, right? Like they've
Yeah.
had like literally the entire gamut of like playing styles from Louis van Gaal
Yeah.
to like completely transition football in Ole,
Yeah.
right? So I find it hard to believe that it's all just based because of they don't want to do it. I just think
They just don't have the
he did not
patience.
expect this big a gap in their ability to execute the instruction.
Yeah, because they in that split second when you have to make that decision, I don't think they remember any of those
I
instructions.
don't
They
think they
just
do. It's
go with their
me. Even
instinct.
with Bruno, it's like just play
Boom.
the damn ball. Like you have turned, you have numbers 3 on 3. Just play the ball. Why are you pondering? And here again, talking about like these keyed like I used to play a co-op FIFA with, I told you, right, my friend who was like the best player in my college and one of the like
Mhm.
top 10 FIFA players in India. Bro, he used to tell me that do not hold the ball. You need to move the ball quickly, especially in the final third. And another thing he said was in key moments, you cannot make the wrong decision.
But I would say Bruno overdoes. That's his issue. He takes the ball and he just booms. He just
So I would say like I used to play winger a lot in the co-op thing, so maybe that's why but I
Mhm.
think his actually key point, which I was forgetting, which is why I said that first. But his key point used to be not all moments are the same in a match. When you're exchanging 20 passes, let's say between two center backs, as you're
Mhm.
trying to bait a press,
Yeah.
if 19, 20, like 18 of them are good, you'll be fine,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is, if 20 of them are really bad, sorry, two of them are really bad, you'll concede a goal. If two of them are okay, it won't really make a difference. On attack, it works differently. It's like you're going to get 5 chances and you have to be ultra clinical in your decision making. Yes, your bad decision making will not result a goal on the opposite side, but we lose the chance to score a goal right there, which you can say might as well be a goal on the other side. That's my thing. So he kept fucking me for that thing. He fuck up everywhere if you want. In the key moment, like in transition, on the counter, है ना? Dalo playing the ball on the mid halfway line, lobbing it to the fucking midfield first time when we have possession and they're pressing up on us. Like in those key moments, you cannot be making a bad decision because the cost of that mistake in that key moment is a lot. So I think that is why that is why Liverpool can score 3 goals in 1.3 expected goals. And we could not even score 1 goal in 3 expected goals. Because I think in the key moment, we don't make the right decision, our attackers. Okay. Quickly going on to fan reaction. I think it's been a disgrace, man, personally. Like, it's okay to banter between, like, post match, you banter with your friend, you're like, bro, everybody's trash. I don't want to call out names, but a lot of the fan channel vloggers have borderline been trying to incite riot, man. Like, they're asking for so much in 12 games in an injury-riddled squad with the starting point that Ten Hag had when he joined us, knowing the ownership situation, knowing what, like, the fact that there are, bro, it's like a 50-50 split between Ten Hag in and Ten Hag out. Like, it tells you, bro, like 50% of our fans are basically tie from Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, that again comes back to the very first point that we made in the video, right? Like the fact that we're the biggest commercial club in the world. You're gonna have fans of all demographics, all ages, everywhere. And a lot of those fans which are vocal online, especially on these YouTube fan channels, and yeah, they don't have that understanding, or like I don't know if they get this clout by being negative or just
It
creating
has to
some
be that.
agenda. Yeah. So it's yeah, you're right. Like it has been a disgrace, but it was not unexpected, or it's not something which has happened
I mean, man,
for the first time.
I
It
was
happens with every manager we had.
I was really disappointed, man. Like, I was
Yeah, like
watching some vlogs. I mean, these live, these 1.5 hour podcasts, and Ten Hag bum, Ten Hag's this, that. I mean, the audacity to call somebody like Ten Hag a bum, a bum. Not saying he's not good enough, not saying he needs to do better. He's doing certain things. Like, have an educated discussion about it, man. Like, we have not, I'm filled with hatred. And we have not like trashed anybody. We have tried to deconstruct why something is happening. And I think fundamentally, man, criticize the club, but at the end of the job, if you're asking the player to do his job, you have to do your job as a fan. Like, to say that, oh, United is a finished club, this, that. How are you different from the Glazers? They don't give a fuck about the club, and neither do you. If you just want to win, go be a Man City fan, man. No, or go follow a team in, I mean, I would have said the Liga, but like that has also changed now. But I would just say go follow some other league. Right. Go pick any oil club anywhere else, or like just go watch like freaking, I don't know, man. Like go watch like Real Madrid or something, right?
It's just over enthusiastic fans.
The fact that you think you're just entitled to like 10 wins in a row, like how many things have to go right? Like, my question is this: can the Old Trafford crowd even give the atmosphere that we saw in Copenhagen? You remember that?
Yeah.
I was trembling. I was watching that match on my phone.
We are yet to see the worst.
Galatasaray. You remember that? Copenhagen. Even the atmosphere at Brighton, Newcastle, Arsenal. Like, you cannot tell me that the Newcastle fans, when they were like thrice as shit as they are good right now, the difference in their support for the team was thrice as less. You cannot tell me that. But I see United fans. Yeah, I think it's been a disgrace, man. I'll just say that.
Yeah, you can't say more.
I mean, if you are asking people to do their job, excuse me, as a fan, we have to do ours, like
Yeah.
criticism aside, man, like, yeah, you cannot be out there 12 games in, being manager out, this out, he's a bum, Casemiro is like taking hard line stances, which will make you look like an idiot maybe in 5 games.
Hmm.
Right? If
Yeah.
our next 5 games are the how our last 5 games are, which is quite hard because we're going to get into the upcoming fixtures, right?
Yeah.
So we could be like, they could look like complete idiots in like literally like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? So I think, yeah, it's been a disgrace. And yeah, we need to do our job as fans, man, honestly. And yeah, firing another manager, having this media trial, this YouTube vlog trial, and basically we have 3 4 years ago, I think the match going fans were the ignorant ones, but I think it's flipped now. I think the match going fans have more patience
Yep.
and support. I think they contribute more to the progression of the club than any of these people. And it's the trend is, the more hardline stance you take, the more vlogs you'll get invited to.
Yeah. This is,
है ना?
yeah, it's just for clown.
And yeah, Ten Hag's a bum. He's a bum. Rashford's a bum. Sir Alex Ferguson a bum. A bum, a bum.
We'll get some
So
millions
many
of
bums.
5 million views per bum.
bum, 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 bum. Okay, cool. Let's proceed. I think we are almost coming to the end of this episode, but real quick, before we go, actually, I want to talk about the Jim Ratcliffe thing first. Real quick. No, I want to end with the match predictions. Okay, so okay. Thank you for very secretly signaling that. Don't do that, you fucking idiot. Okay, you want to just do the upcoming fixtures first?
Yes.
Let's do that. So upcoming fixtures, real quick, the next 10 fixtures.
10 is too much.
10 is too much. 7?
5.
Let's do 5.
Okay.
Let's do 5.
Everton away.
What do you think happens?
It's end of November.
Mm-hmm.
Might have some players back. Not the key players though.
Yes, I don't think we are going to have either Luke Shaw, Licha,
Licha.
maybe not even Casemiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
say-
possibly not Hoyland.
Yeah. I would say a draw.
Draw. I would
Yeah.
say a draw too, because we have always stunk after the international break also.
Yeah.
Like most teams do better, we do worse.
Yeah.
Another point. Everton is in good form.
They won their last game, right?
They have,
3-2.
I think, won their last. So they have basically won 3 out of their last 4 5 games. Right. They against Burnley, West Ham, and like Crystal Palace. Okay.
Yeah.
They drew against Brighton,
And the game they lost was against Liverpool.
Liverpool,
they've
and it was
been
2-0.
good. Yeah.
So
They've been
they
good.
are not a bad team by any measure.
Yeah. So
Yes, they are 14, but I think they're the horrible start to the season. And in classic fashion, they're coming into form as they're getting ready to play United.
Yep. And it's
Or
Sean Dyche, so he's got to kind of like
yeah,
kick the hell out of
yeah,
United players. So, yeah.
yep, 110%. So yeah,
Draw.
I would say a draw.
Okay.
What do you think then?
Next game is Galatasaray away.
Yeah,
No chance.
you think so?
The mentality that these players have, do you think they'll survive?
I mean, Galatasaray held Bayern to a 0-0 till like the 80th minute.
Galatasaray fan will like make them cry on the field. Like these players, they can't even play against Copenhagen after going a man
That's
down.
true.
Like,
That's
that's
true.
their mentality. Like,
Going like 2-0 up.
yeah, giving 4 goals.
2-0 up and like at 38th minute. So it's
Exactly.
not like you are going a one man down and you are like 0-0,
Yeah.
right? So
Conceding 4 goals. Like Galatasaray, there's no chance. These guys will eat them up.
fuck, you are killing me, bro. Okay,
And then Newcastle away.
no chance.
No chance. It's like the Galatasaray of England. There, have you seen their atmosphere?
I mean, Newcastle is the best atmosphere in the league right now. I would say this. I think we win against Newcastle.
I would say a loss.
Okay.
But it's in February.
No, it's in December.
Oh, it's
December
Oh,
2nd.
sorry, US, UK, like the date.
Oh shit. Oh, US and everybody else.
Yes.
Uh,
So
Okay, cool. So you are saying Everton we draw, Galatasaray we lose,
Loss,
Newcastle we lose, Chelsea.
Chelsea, I think we might win. They played an amazing game last week, and then an amazing game the week before also.
And they are very likely to play an amazing game the
And they
next.
might have Nkunku back and Lavia back, and
It's not looking good, man.
but it's at home, so that's what I'm saying. We have 3 away matches back to back. Yeah.
This stretch of games is like insane. I'll tell you why I was saying we should maybe do 7 games. Okay, so you
I see that.
Chelsea, right?
Yeah, I see.
What do you think about Bournemouth?
Yeah, maybe we'll win that after.
Did you just say maybe? Shut the fuck up, dude.
I think a 1-0 victory. Back to back.
How do you expect the progression at the end of the season when you are telling me we are getting
No,
4 points from 7 fixtures?
we're
Because
still.
I'm guessing your prediction against Bayern is we lose.
Yeah. Okay. What's your prediction?
I'll give you my predictions. Okay, and Liverpool.
But also, let me give my reason, right, for this negativity, because we're still in December and we're not gonna have our key players
That's
back.
true.
So
I mean, there is nothing that is going to happen which is going to give us a big boost.
Liverpool away.
I
Do
think
you
the
want
question.
do you wanna ask me that?
No, I
Liverpool away.
actually do not.
How many goals? 5?
Stop it, bro.
7?
We just talked about fan negativity. Bum bum bum.
But I think, to be honest, I can only see us winning Bournemouth game, maybe Chelsea game, because again it's at home, and then rest.
So you are saying we will get either 4 points. Okay, so let's say let's remove Champions League, right? So in Everton, Newcastle, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Liverpool. These are our next 5 Premier League games.
Everton,
You are
Newcastle.
saying 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses/slappings.
Well, I was saying 1 win because I said draw against
Everton, okay,
Everton.
and maybe win against Chelsea. So you are saying, let's say, give me an answer. You think loss or draw against Chelsea
Chelsea, I would say
at home? So maybe a draw.
I would be optimistic and
Fair
go
enough.
for a victory.
Yeah, this motherfucker, dude. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna so you're saying Everton will draw,
Will draw.
Newcastle will lose. That's 1 point. Chelsea will draw. That's 2 points. Bournemouth will win 6 points, and Liverpool will lose. So we're gonna get 6 out of 15 points,
Yeah.
which will probably leave us somewhere maybe eighth, seventh, eighth.
Huh.
Okay, cool. I think that's the most.
Okay, now tell me your prediction.
Yeah.
Everton
So now
versus
I'll give you maybe the more optimistic prediction. I think yours was pretty accurate. If I
mine was
think,
realistic, yeah.
yours was realistic, but let's say certain things go well, right? We carry on the momentum. Van Bissaka more fit, Mount more fit. Maybe we get Casemiro, but like things might happen, right? Fuck, bro, I couldn't even complete this. Yeah, we might get not Jesus, but the actual Jesus
Yes.
to resurrect himself and actually play maybe right wing for us.
Yes.
So okay, I'll give my predictions and then we go to the next topic. So Everton, I think we'll draw. I think against Everton because I think right after international break we tend to suck. I think. Galatasaray, I think
Away.
we are going to win.
Away. Galatasaray away. Do you think we're gonna win after playing Everton? How many days before? 3 days before.
3 days
Sunday we're
before.
playing Everton away, and then Wednesday we're
So
playing.
that's why I'm saying I think we lose against Everton because we can afford to like lose because see a draw is basically does nothing. 1 point does nothing except maybe put media pressure on us. If we lose except versus draw, draw does nothing, right? And I think we'll do more damage if we get knocked out of the Champions League, like even before the last match is played. I think.
Okay.
So I think he'll prioritize the Champions League as I think
Okay.
as he should. So I think we'll lose against Everton, win against Galatasaray. I'm actually pretty confident that we're going to win against Newcastle because I think they've been crap past couple of games. They've been
They
injured,
also have injuries.
and I think their fixtures are starting to really catch up with them. I think we're going to draw against Chelsea because it's at home. I think we'll win against Bournemouth. I think we will win against Bayern because I think Bayern last game of the group table, nobody will they have no incentive to play their first 11 because they'll already be first, right? So you would only like because of the rules, you don't have to play one round, right? If you're
So
first.
you're saying you can beat their second 11.
I think we already got slapped up by the second 11. No, that was Newcastle. Okay, cool. So I think, yeah, I think bro, things change in football really quickly. As I said, this is a more optimistic prediction, and even this has like a loss against Everton in it, right? And I think Liverpool, I don't think there's a chance in hell, and I don't think it's Ten Hag player.
And
I think
free.
it's the difference between men and children, bro. I
Yeah.
think, and at Anfield. So I'm saying we qualify from the group with 9 points. I say we get out of 15, we get 9 points because we will lose against Everton and lose against Liverpool.
Hopefully.
God damn, bro. The difference between the most optimistic version and the most pessimistic or practical version is like 3 points. Like with this
That
is
tells you the
with
story.
me.
That tells you the story.
Yeah. Okay, bro.
Okay.
I think this concludes the story, bro. Okay, cool.
Okay. That's fine.
So final thing, I mean, I'm so dead, bro, about
Yeah,
this
I'm also
topic.
about to
Like
say,
the
like, I
thing
don't
is,
have anything to
I
say.
honestly do not give a fuck. Um, I remember it was my birthday. I will not reveal when my birthday is. Fucking internet freaks. But I think even if I tell this, it'll be a hint. But okay, it was my birthday, and I was pretty convinced that we were getting Qatar. And I remember telling my friends who were calling me to wish me happy birthday, bro, fuck my birthday. We are getting Qatar. And coming to this point where the PR has started about, Jim Ratcliffe with his insane cash infusion of, hold your pants, 240 million, which basically buys you fucking Burnley squad, right? And no renovation to the facilities, no renovation to the most likely no renovation, or maybe slight renovation to Old Trafford just to pacify people.
It's band-aid laga
I
diya.
mean, I am not optimistic about United's future, and we all know, man, the ownership dictates pretty much everything. Like, I mean, we can keep talking about the fucking 10, 11 points we talked about before that, but
Mm.
the driving factor for everything is the leadership of the club and the capital that is put into the club. Even the CEO of Sunderland, we were watching Sunderland, even that dude said, the fucking owner of Sunderland said that the main thing in football is money. Sunderland,
Can you tell me which team again?
Sunderland, right? So, what are your opinions about the Jim Ratcliffe takeover and like him taking over the footballing operations?
Again, I right now I'm kind of neutral, or I guess numb is the
Numb is the
numb is the
apathetic.
word. Yeah, apathetic. Yeah, thank you, apathetic. Again, no hope. Only thing I would say it's a little optimistic is the fact that he's at least gonna get some sporting structure if he gets a director of football.
Mm.
And the best thing is that Joel Glazer is not going to make football decisions. He's not going to sign off on which player we buy because he doesn't know anything about. He can't tell you the difference between a fullback and a winger, and he's making the football decisions on which player we need to buy. So that's the only thing I am optimistic about. That there's gonna be someone with an iota of a brain who's gonna make these decisions. But then again, now you have people who can make these decisions, but now you don't have any money because he probably spent all that money in buying this 25% stake. Then he still needs more money to, apparently he wants to buy the whole club.
And I think that 25% ka money is also coming from basically Ineos lending him
Ineos lending,
essentially
yeah.
the money.
I
I mean,
think
not lending, but like I'm sure like
I
it's
think Ineos is financing
it's not like
from
leverage free
JP Morgan.
money. It's not like
Yeah,
I bought this and I don't give a shit.
yeah,
It's
it's
over.
not Qatar
He
money
needs to
basically.
give Ineos returns. Like even
Yeah,
though it's his company,
yeah,
like the as a business owner, it would be irresponsible for him to like take that money and not give them returns.
exactly.
Right. So I would agree with you, man. The only thing I'm optimistic about is like compared to our existing board, this is like a football revolution. Like
Yeah,
somebody who's actually run a football club, success doesn't matter. Somebody who can spell football, right? Somebody who doesn't call it Saka, like So, um, I think I'm optimistic about that. My only problem is like we are we are like a Hollywood movie, bro. We get the star. Like it's like why are we not getting the next Paul Mitchell? Or why are we like, is it, why do we always get like the star child, like mythical figure of the thing, like Champions League Di Maria, Prime Monaco, Falcao. But we knew that these players were not going to be that when it comes to a, reality ka level. So,
yeah.
मेरे को लग रहा है, I'm optimistic because I know the legend of like Blanc and I know the legend of like Paul Mitchell. right?
Mm-hmm.
And I read about what he did at Monaco, Tottenham, the RB Leipzig group, you know. So I'm optimistic, but I also know when it comes to United and how the thing actually transpires, is probably
Yeah.
going to be a shit bucket that we're going to be eating out of in
That
about a
that
couple of years.
difference is gonna be wherever that blonde guy was, the an average fan did not know who their football director is. Wherever
Yes.
that Paul Mitchell guy was,
Yes.
the average Monaco fan or whoever didn't know about who their football director is, or even if they knew, they
It was
wasn't.
in retrospect.
Yeah, it wasn't like the media would not
It's
talk
not like
about.
every day. Like
Yeah,
if you look up Paul Mitchell, like the periodicity with which you find articles about him are like 6 months,
exactly,
1 year, 1 year,
exactly.
6 months. Here it
The
would be like,
media was not talking about
yeah.
Paul Mitchell. What is he doing? Why
Because
is
I
he doing?
researched Paul Mitchell like 2 years ago. Also, you remember in
Yeah,
2019 or whatever,
exactly,
4 years ago. Fuck.
exactly.
4 years ago, we almost. So I looked him up then, and it was like I saw like articles spaced like 3 months,
Yeah,
6 months. Now Google Paul Mitchell. It's like
exactly.
you have the whole page is filled with
That's
like
my
articles.
point. So now,
Yeah.
similar to the players, similar to the coach, now this Paul Mitchell or whoever is gonna come, they're also gonna have the same amount of pressure because
Hmm.
everyone knows the football director or whoever is in charge of the board right now at United, but no one can name who's in charge at Liverpool, City, Arsenal. Maybe yeah, few people can, but like yeah, that's the pressure at United. So everyone is gonna keep have an eye. The media is gonna be out for them. For one wrong decision, one signing which does not make sense,
Yes.
they're gonna straight go to the football director. Was it the right decision? Did they make a mistake? Right?
You know what's my takeaway from this entire podcast? Nothing's gonna matter, bro. I
It's
mean, till that culture of Glazers is here, the apathy, the
yeah,
yo, we are a for like I don't think people realize 10 years ago a football club being for profit was not a thing.
yeah.
Like Barcelona
Not
is
just a
not for
football club.
profit.
Yeah.
Like Real Madrid is not for profit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
this,
It's run like a non-profit organization. It's
yeah,
just for again to make
just
people
excellence,
happy.
just
Yeah.
be iconic, be historic,
Yeah.
And I think United has come such a far way from that. And I don't think there's any respite in the future. But let's see, man. I think, yeah, I think we are getting some players back. I think we have some tough fixtures coming, but it also, I think tough fixtures will help us get a better clarity. I think this run of fixtures of what these players are
Mm,
capable of, what they're made of, and also what Ten Hag is made of. If we
yeah.
can get results in this run,
Yeah.
then we are having a very different conversation like
Yep.
4 weeks from now.
100%.
Cool. On that note,
Yep. I think we'll sign out. So
all right, toodaloo, mother jodo.